Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 344, I am very lucky, privileged to have Chris Donaldson on the podcast. He is a author, businessman, entrepreneur, traveler, and he has many other talents as well. He has published a book. His book is Going the Wrong Way. As I almost said it the wrong way. But nevertheless, here we are today. How are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. The sun finally broken through in Belfast, so it's all good today. Summer started officially.
Yes, over in good old Blighty, summer has been pretty much a stranger until the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome to the sun. So I'm smiling. I'm not complaining. But yeah, you, sir, let's just say, like if you were a Fraggle back in the day on Fraggle Rock, you would be Uncle Traveling Man, going here, there, and everywhere. Now, like for what was the thing, like when you were a young lad in Belfast, like what made you like go, you know what? Let me get out there and see the world.
Well, I guess it was probably growing up in the 70s. Belfast was not the best place to be. Wasn't the most fun place to be in the world. There was a bit of a sort of semi-forgotten civil war going on. And
I
my
have no
school
idea
was
what
right
you're
in the
talking about.
middle of Belfast. So when we were kids, you didn't mind too much. There was a bit of excitement and whatever. Wasn't living in a bad area, but my dad's business got blown up a few times and that sort of thing. Although I
Mm,
suppose whenever I got teenage years, I realized that the rest of the world wasn't really like that. Bombs and bullets going off, so I decided I wanted to see a bit of adventure, go and see some other countries to see where maybe not to emigrate as such, but just to live in and for a while and get out of town. So it was a bit of push and a bit of a. It gave me the want to travel rather than
mm.
just flying to Australia or the States. Since a lot of my friends stayed and staying there, I wanted to see a bit of the world as well. So for some reason or another, I decided to ride a motorbike. I was big into bikes at that stage. I decided to ride a motorbike to Australia. Um, I didn't get too far before it all went wrong. It was in the beginning of November 1979. I left Belfast and got as far as London, getting a few visas and things sorted out. And then the
Mhm.
Ayatollah Khomeini took over American embassy in Tehran and basically closed my route east. So I left home with a motorbike and told my friends I'd be back in a year. I couldn't possibly turn back up 2 weeks' time, just having us go as far as London. So I had to find another destination. Um, so it was November, beginning of sort of winter in Europe. So I headed south for South Africa, traveled through the Middle East, across the desert, across the Saharas, through some pretty dodgy countries down East Africa. Zimbabwe was still changing from Rhodesia. Uganda just got rid of Idi Amin, and there's various other productions going all around the place. Um, but I suppose it was about halfway down Africa when I realized that I wasn't really traveling for a destination. Normally, when you go traveling anywhere, whether you're going on
Mm.
holiday or to work, you've got a destination you're going to. But my trip was quite unusual because I was traveling without a fixed destination anymore. Australia was out, so I was just traveling for the sake of traveling. Like a hobo, we might say, but with a motorbike. So I ended up got to Cape Town just in the middle of apartheid, so I couldn't. It was difficult to get in and out of, but I managed to get a job in the city up back to Britain, back to Europe, and the people who organised that they would send me back to the States. So I continued on there, went up the west coast of California, west coast of America, up to Canada, across Canada, and then down. Stopped working in the States for a while, down through Mexico and down to go as far as Argentina. I ran out of money, ran out of health, got hepatitis and things. Got a bit dodgy, and I came home. So I never actually got to Australia. Um, I did start writing a book at that stage, but got halfway through it, and somebody else had written a book about doing much the same thing. I called Ted
Mm.
Simon. And he was a very good author, but uh, he was a journalist and a professional author. So I thought, oh, I can never do anything as good as his. So I sort of gave up writing. I'd only picked it up again about 4 or 5 years ago. When I realized that my journey was very different than his. I mean, everybody's who's traveling, you have a different journey, whatever you meet. It's people you meet, people, what happens in your interactions with them that makes all the difference. So I finally got the book published, self-published a few years ago. One of my mates said to me, "Well, you never actually got to Australia. Why not have another go?" So 3 years ago, we left just after COVID. And I had to take the same motorbike, and the same bikes kept, managed to get it shipped home. So I took the same motorbike, now 45 years old, across to racing, across to India, Nepal. I got it shipped to States. It's got shipped to Australia, I think 43 years after I left home on it. So it must be one of the longest journeys ever.
No, like this is the thing. What I find fascinating, because like this is like right now, if someone goes, I'm traveling around the world, I'm gonna travel here. There is like so much sort of like paved road now that it's considerably different to what you had to go through, like getting things done. Because like this is the thing, like it might sound strange me saying this, but like, okay, a country like Australia, as much as people kind of knew what Australia was, it wasn't like they had neighbors or anything like this, or like to sort of get a little
It's
like
Skippy the talking
looks
kangaroo
about,
and that sort of thing.
yeah. But it's like it was pretty much a mystery of what these places are. Even America in some regards, you're like, oh yeah, what's America like? You see New York, you see LA, and then not a lot of anything else. So how did like how did you sort of get that sort of, how can I say, what what was the sort of gleam, the spark or the catalyst to make you go to like, go Australia's the place? What, like, where did you see what, or were you just told about
Well, you know what kids are like. You sort of want a little sort of nugget of information can set you on a path when you're a teenager. I think I had
it?
a couple of relations there as well, but I wasn't a particularly good linguist, so it had to be somewhere that spoke English. So the States or Australia was a choice. And probably it came down as simple as I couldn't ride a motorbike to the States. I can only do that to Australia. And even then, you have to, certain countries you can't go through still. So there's still a bit of shipping and flying that you would have to do to get there. But it's probably just something as simple as that. I just want to get out of Northern Ireland at that stage. It was one of the primary things and see a bit of the
Mm.
world, you know. Um, and so I know what you mean by the information, the lack of information, but we didn't realize we had a lack of information then because that's all we had. Never asked what age you are, but the internet hadn't been invented yet at that stage. So these days it's just normal that if you want to, what's happening in Australia, what's happening in Bombay, whatever, you just put in there, just Google it and it tells you what the weather is, where the hotels are, where the petrol stations are. It's just everything you need
Mm.
to know now is on Google, which kids these days, that is now the new norm. But we didn't miss that much because we didn't have it. It was only on Star Trek, that type of thing. But no, I think, and my trip in particular was, although I had done a lot of planning on my driving to Asia through uh, the Middle East, through Iran, India, I had guidebooks and so on for that. But because I then went to Africa and America, the guide, all the background information I got was all wrong. So it's literally going from one city to the next without much idea at all what was going to be happening there. In fact, going down at the bottom of Sudan, I actually drove around off the edge of my map because I didn't have another map for the south for Southern Africa, and I had to swap maps so the guy came up north, uh, which is good too. Looking back on it, when I was able to reflect on it, because if I had known what was going on in Uganda, I wouldn't have gone there. Whereas in Rhodesia was having a civil war, I wouldn't have gone there either. So the lack of information in these places meant it was a sort of like a blind man stumbling over these countries as they came along and managed to scrape my way through. But sometimes too much information is a bad thing.
No, ignorance can be bliss at
Yeah.
times, but like, yeah, like, let's just say like Belfast 70s meets like going to like, yeah. Rhodesia and Uganda, like that's like stepping out of the fire into the frying pan. It's like, oh my lord. But yeah, um, because like this is the thing with regards to like how much money did you take with you in the start, like to start this like quest off? Because no offense, it just seems like you it kind of done it in a whim and like not having like having the map of the north and not having the map of the south, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at about 1,000 quid saved up working Saturdays and working weekends and stuff like that, working at the shop. I managed to save up about 1,000 quid, which is probably 4 or 5 thousand pounds in today's money, which isn't, as you say, it's not an awful lot to travel around the world on. It would have been fine to get me to Australia because that would have taken me about 3 months, I reckon.
Mm,
But what it was away for a year and a half, so it was stretched very thin by that stage, and that was my biggest uh, problem. Probably apart from various things that can go wrong along the way, these things, but traveling on a shoestring, eating basic. But you can, in several countries, you can eat if you prefer to eat the way the locals eat and stay in the local hostels and stuff. You can live very cheap. Um, and petrol, I mean, petrol in Iran, I think it was 10 cents a gallon last year. I don't know what it is now. So all these countries, the standard of living goes down, the price of things goes down too. But no, the biggest problem I had then was I didn't have enough money. Whereas the trip I made this year, because it was nearing retirement, let's say, uh, I had more, I was able to stay in hotels and a bit more luxurious and camping in the middle of the desert, north of Africa, that sort of thing, you know?
uh, uh, I see, like basically 21-year-old you would most really look at like yourself right now and go, damn. It's like, you, like, my God, you're traveling the lap of luxury in
Totally.
comparison.
I mean, money isn't everything. And I've been rich and I've been poor. And much prefer being rich that way.
Like, yes, more money, more problems, but
Yes,
yeah, you're like you can make yourself happy when you got a little bit of cash in your pocket.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, so with this, like, what would you say was one of the biggest sort of takeaways like, if you could throw your mind back, you learned in your first year of traveling? Would you say?
I think probably just having the determination and the stubbornness to get where you want to go. If you're traveling on your own, there's nobody to fall back on. You get yourself in a situation like get stuck in Uganda,
Mm,
whenever it is, you've got yourself into that situation. There's only yourself to get yourself out of it. So certainly learn to be more able to cope with situations that are uncomfortable. Whereas these days, I think if there's any situation people find it's not right, they just give up very quickly. Whereas if you're, as I say, if you're fending for yourself totally and you're in a country village, in the UK, you've got all your national health service, you've got the police, you've got all these systems to support anybody
mm,
that's in trouble. You've got social services, you've got, everything's organized directly to stay away from danger. But somewhere like Uganda or Bolivia or some of these places, it's just yourself. You got yourself there. You're going to have to get yourself out of it. So I suppose having this steadfast determination to do that was my biggest gift from the trip. And certainly, I remember about 10 years ago, I was fighting with the banks, RBS, about stealing my properties. It was self litigating in front of the judge himself. And I did have to dig into, I've learned how to get myself out of situations before. And this is a lot easier than trying to drive across the Sahara Desert on a motorbike. So I think I can cope with this old guy up in front of me. And certainly gave me inspiration to keep going for that battle.
mm. So, like, giving you a still rod of grit and determination, uh, to say the least.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, with this, now this is the thing. Like your like travels are only part of your story. Now, when you came back, was it a case of you just came back to a 9 to 5, or was it a case of you like going, you know what, that's I can't do that. It's like, yeah, I have to start something myself.
Yeah. pretty much. I mean, going the wrong way, as I say, there's a geographical term. I left UK to go to Australia and ended up in Argentina. You can't go much further wrong than that, really, can you? But it's sort of, when I was writing the book, I did realize that it has been probably the story of my life, and it's been situations that have decided to go the more difficult route than the plainer sailing, if you like.
Mm,
Uh, in life, I started working for the family business, but I soon got into property, doing mobile apps in Dubai a few years ago, doing fitness gyms. I've done 4 or 5 different career paths in my professional life, um, which I think myself has been more fun because I love learning about things and pro- progressing them and changing them to something else. Um, my wife suggested I might be on the spectrum some way, which is possibly true. But sensible people just don't do what I do, you know.
it's like, it's like you're on the spectrum. Yeah, I'm not too sure whereabouts, like where you
No,
might be
I don't
and
want to look
where.
too deep either.
Yeah. Ah, very, very. Like, yeah. So 5 businesses, like 5 different paths. Like, what would you say, like, was your toughest business you got into?
Um, Probably the property business because of this when after the credit crunch came 2009, 10. Um, it was basically government owned banks, government projected robbery that was going on across the country,
Mm,
which is still coming out. Um, so when you realize that you're actually against the whole fabric of the over civilization, like, but too dramatic of it, but the government, the legal business, the police, everything is directed for the government rather than you. So you're very much um, at on the back foot, as we would say. You know, you're dealing with people that are highly trained and well motivated, and they do this every day, whereas you've just come off the pitch without even knowing what's going on. So it's probably one of the more difficult stages of my life.
mm, I see. I like so basically going through like 2009, that credit crunch. I know the north and south of Ireland particularly badly. Like sways of properties were lost and everything like this. Like did you manage to sort of retain like your properties, or is it a case of like it was a case of like, yeah, you had to chalk up a loss and start again?
Yeah, well, I ended up with pretty much nothing. I took everything, and then I moved to Dubai and started doing mobile apps there, just following that as a uh, an up and coming aspirational business. So at the same time, learned as much legal stuff as I could to, because I realized what they'd done was wrong. So you sort of, it's a matter of trying to find a chink in the weakness that was able to get back properties that they taken.
Yeah.
Well, I got most of them back, yeah. Uh,
Oh,
but it took about 10 years of my working life. So it certainly stopped me going what I wanted to do. It wasn't the direction I wanted to go in, let's say.
mm. Like, well, this is the thing, right? And it may have taken you in the like you might say the wrong direction, going the wrong way. Again, there we go. But like the whole thing is like you come across as a chap if it goes against your principles, if you feel like you've been wronged in a major way, like rather than sort of lay down and like take the kicking, like you stand up for yourself. You are not a person to back down too easily.
No, that's certainly, and that would have been learned from the trip as well. I mean, certainly I had to dig into my pension pot and spend it basically um, to get the fees and to get as far as it went.
Mm,
Whereas other people may just thought, well, I just have to cut my losses here and just try and start again and just use your pension. You know, it was about 55, you have not much working years left to build up a pension. But I blame mine on legal fees and that sort of thing because I'm so determined to get my property back. And a lot of people have, who I know, uh, and others I don't know, would have just said, well, I'll lay down, but I can't fight this. I'm just going to have to take my losses. But No, I'm a bit of a stubborn old git. Right.
A stubborn old get. You say stubborn old get. I'd say a man who has the spirit of adventure. But like, yeah, seems to like, well, I can only imagine some of the shenanigans and the tanglements you may have got into over the course of time. I've seen pictures of you on that boat. Say no more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, I have to ask, like Dubai and mobile apps. That is quite a leap from doing property to like from property to technology. Like, was the driving force for that?
Well, it was, I suppose I sort of fell into it away, but in a way, because we were doing, uh, all those things, as you say, sound completely different. But the main thing that holds them all together is I've always been into marketing and selling and retailing in a furniture shop with my bread and butter. And mobile apps are really just a marketing tool. So they're just there to give people information to see a product or whatever it is. So as you say, it seems to be a complete change of direction, but it wasn't really, because I was able to use my marketing expertise and get people who had the technology expertise, who probably 16-year-old kids with dirty t-shirts and greasy hair, sitting in a attic room just playing with their computers all day. I couldn't do any of that, but I was able to get people to do that for me if I could put the direction I wanted the app to do. So yeah, it wasn't in reality, it wasn't that big a difference. But I do remember sitting down in meetings and the guys were saying, "Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you give it a USB for this?" And I was going writing into all that and say, "Yes, I can do that. I can do that." And I hadn't a clue what I was talking about, but there's no point in the thing. I couldn't do it. But I'd always ring them back the next day once I go back to my IT guys and say, "Can we do this?" Well, they go, "No, no, you can't do that." Okay, find something else we can do, you know? But I'm a sort of positive person. There's no point saying no to people, because that's the end of the road. That's the end of the conversation. If they want something, you say no, well, you're not going to get anywhere.
Mhm, mhm. No, I hear you. I hear you. I'm getting a much more of an interesting picture of you as a person. Like, it's good. It's good. So, like, how long were you doing the apps for? And like, have you stopped, or is that something which is still ongoing?
Pretty much stopped that, but I got my properties back. I came back to some bread and butter property development if I can. But to buy, I mean, it's a very financially oriented place, and people were interested in new technology coming in. But the app market now is sort of, it's matured, and it's, whereas we were basically doing mobile small websites for people you can use on their phones. Whereas now most apps are run by Uber and your holiday flight companies and people like that. They're not really a marketing tool anymore. They're more of a utility that'll do something for you rather than just selling the company something about your product. So we changed direction. So it was a good time to get off that business.
No, ah. So, and then it was back. Did you like come back to Dubai, or did you decide to like to take yourself to other shores?
I came back to Belfast. Basically, my daughter was, ready for senior school. So we thought we'd put her feet down a bit, and be a bit sensible for a few years. But she finishes school next year. So God knows where we'll end up after that.
Like being sensible. Now, come on now. Look, don't get me wrong. Like you, sir, struck me as a person who, like, yes, one got the spirit of adventure. Like, yeah, high, like, got grit, determination behind you, and you like to say yes to weird and strange things what tend to come up in your life. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah. Because like the reason why I say this, you like managed to end up on a boat racing across the like race a boat race
Mhm.
by some like weird chance. Would I be right in saying
Yeah.
that, or am I wrong?
Keep it, hold on 2 seconds. Just see my battery. So my charges fall out of my computer.
Ah,
Don't want to do that. There we go. So, what was that question again?
yes. Like you ended up in a boat race by some remarkable like yeah, aspect.
Yeah. Been going along, people go the right direction. it's because it's easier to the less problematic, less tried and tested, more tried and tested. Take the wrong route, you'll have a bit more fun and adventure, but things can go wrong as well. So I wouldn't recommend it all the time. I guess I'm sort of, I think I have a fair bit of good luck in my life as well,
Mm,
such as, say during apartheid, there's very few flights in and out, very few boats coming in and out of South Africa, but there's a boat race stopped there because there was a storm and a guy got off and he hurt his leg playing football the week before they were to leave, and I got his place. The ironic thing about that, he was actually Australian going to Belfast to see that's where his family were from. Uh, so he had to fly up back to Belfast. I took his place in the boat. We actually met up when we were here, became good friends. Then he actually worked for my dad's business at that stage for 6 months back in Northern Ireland. So it's funny how small a world it is sometimes.
yeah.
But luck has a lot, yeah, I've had a fair bit of bad luck as well, but none of it's been terminal. And I think good luck, it generates itself. If you're negative all the time, you will get bad things happening to you. If you're positive and optimistic, I think you'll get good things happening to you. That's my theory anyway.
No, like this is the thing, like positive mental attitude.
That's
Like,
it.
yeah, yeah, because like this is I think with many people when they go to a new country or like they look at let's say for the example, someone comes to the UK, like as someone who's been born and raised here, there's things I will not see because I've become accustomed to it.
Yeah.
And like I might have a positive mental attitude, but I don't have that sort of outside perspective. But like with a positive mental attitude, you can go, yes, oh, did you not see that or this and this opportunity? And I think when people are sort of out of their comfort zones, they tend to see it more with a positive mental attitude. And if you've got a negative mindset, well, like one, I don't think you're going to get terribly far out of your own backyard. But if you are forced into a situation where you have to travel, it's going to be every situation, every single day. It's going to be a case of woe is me.
Hmm.
Why is life so unfair? And basically, all that time and energy spent complaining or crying about a situation is going to be energy wasted where they could have found a decent positive solution to help them in that present time or circumstance, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think these days too, health and safety have become a huge item in everybody's life. The system, everybody has to really be healthy. Like make sure you don't take any risks through. And to following all of that, to do that, to take a risk or to go the opposite way from your health and safety plan, it's
Mm,
deemed as being a bad thing now, whereas actually it's just a bit of a venture. Certainly you can come to harm if you do something completely stupid, but um, I think kids are programmed now to be more safe and sound rather than they would have been in our day.
mm. Like this is the thing. I like with you say health and safety. I agree with you, but I would say it's definitely there's been like this sort of drive to be as risk averse as possible. And yeah, when you were a kid, like yeah, latchkey, it was like pretty much the norm. Go
Mhm.
off and play and do
Yeah.
this. And like I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s, so I still had that type of like stuff going on. Where yeah, like here's your key. I know you're 8. You let yourself in and out
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
house, go off and play. Today,
Yeah.
if my mother did that, oh my lord, it'll be a case of social services will be there,
Yeah.
that, this, that. And I think when you when you like sort of remove like the opportunity to take a risk, take a chance, I think it's one of those things which has like slowed the development of so many people.
Yeah.
I think it was harder, I would say, back in the day to sort of like consider you're doing something great because everyone was doing something more risky. They had to challenge themselves a little bit more than today, where the risk isn't like much of the risk isn't there. Like if you've traveled to many of this, maybe some of the same countries again. And as I say, it's like paved roads
Yeah.
in comparison to what it was before. So you're never going to get that same like type of experience.
No, and you're not going to drive alongside the road in the dirt. You're not going to throw away your GPS when you're trying to find it somewhere in the city. You know, it's to throw away the gifts or the things that have been brought, made life easier. Just throw those away. Be a bit daft too, you know. Well, it also
Mm,
means that I think there's a bit of a blame culture that if you're doing something and you drive your car in a hole in the road or break a wheel or something goes wrong, there's always somebody to blame, you know, because somebody should have been DHL, the road service should have been looking after that, or you fall on pavement or whatever happens. Whatever goes wrong, there's always somebody's responsible for it, which is a good thing in a way. But it's obviously because the place improves, civilization improves, but it does mean everybody's thinking, well, whose fault is that? Well, it's something happened and they don't take any risks themselves because they don't want to put anyone else at risk or whatever either. So it's like society's gone, which I say a lot of good things about it, but it has taken the spirit of adventure away from a lot of things.
mm. Like, would you say there is like still like maybe not like the way you had your spirit of adventure like some 45 years ago, but would you say the spirit of adventure is still alive today, or you can still find that in like places?
Yeah, there's still sort of adventure about everything's comparative, I suppose.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, still a lot of people doing a lot of mad things, you know. And funny enough, most of them are quite a bit older. I go to motorbike festivals and stuff like that now to promote the book. And the average age of bikers is in their 60s, you know, whereas when I started riding a motorbike with my early 20s, well, I was teenagers, 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, which you did it then because you couldn't afford a car and your parents weren't going to buy you one. Whereas now, kids when you're 17, 18, their parents buy them a car and they're all like that. They don't, so motorbikes are more of a, I suppose if people that are older maybe had them when they were kids and stopped to grow a family, start a family, and then they're buying motorbikes again to start again. But a lot of the same, most of the average age of a biker is probably in their 80s, their 60s and 70s now, you know?
Like when you see that that the average age is in their 60s, does it make you like? Does it make you feel a little bit sad that, yeah, that other generations are kind of like missing out on the fun you guys are having now?
Um, yeah, you sort of look back, you tend to, you're going to be careful you don't turn into your um, sort of complaining old person saying, you know, it wasn't like that in our day, it wasn't like that in our day, we were so much better in our day, you know. I think you got to be positive about everything that's going on for children, for kids these days as well. You can't be too grumpy.
Okay, yes. Oh, sorry about that, people. Technical issues, as you know. But yeah, we're back in the room. Yeah. As I was saying, yeah, like with regards to like, do you feel sometimes sorry for younger generations that they're missing out with regards to sort of bike lifestyle?
No, because I think we have a better time in a lot of ways than we ever had, you know, a lot more available at schools and along the way, the things are a lot easier. And I think it's
Mm,
a bit wrong to sort of say kids don't have it, don't get tough enough. What are you going to do? Sort of throw them out in the street to look after themselves? Progress has happened. They've got what they've got. I'd love to be 17 again, just with the advances in society and so on has had since then. You can still find yourself danger and adventure if you want to, you know.
mm.
I'm more, I suppose, at this stage doing it for older people like myself, because when your kids are growing up, you got your whole life's ahead of you, but whenever you're in your 60s, you're retiring, you get illnesses, you're slowing down, and sort of, I think, more sort of, maybe the next trip will be called Adventure Before Dementia, because like for older people, it's getting harder to get out and do things, be motivated to do things because there's so much done for you. It's so easy just to sit and watch TV all night because you can be bothered doing anything else. So sort of one of my
mm.
sort of ethos of this trip was to show that 64, 65, I can still do what I did when I was 21, which is ride a motorbike around the world. Same motorbike, same world. It's okay. The roads are a bit smoother, but um, everything else is the same, apart from me being 40 years older, you know. But you can still do what you did when you're 21. By the time you get to 65, there shouldn't be things holding you back. You should be out there doing them. The trouble is, as you get older, you get a lot less motivated, you get tired, you get, oh, can be bothered. Just watch Netflix tonight instead. And I think that's more of the sort of the age level I want to sort of work with, try and get people off their asses, you know?
Oh, no, like, trust me. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, there's been many a time, many an hour, many a night which has been spent watching the old Netflix and or like Disney Plus, or yes, with a young child. Yeah, multiple episodes of Bluey. I won't like just between me and you. I actually really like that show. It's like yeah, but yeah, but no, I agree. It like as time goes on, uh, it gets it gets that little bit harder to sort of like be motivated to go out there. Like it gets that little bit harder to like go, yeah, like why go over the next like
It is.
hill to see what yeah. Like yeah, let me just stay in this realm of comfort. And yeah,
Yeah.
chill. I I think it's one of those things where ultimately does you no good when it comes to it because as they say, if you don't use it, you
Hmm.
lose it. And I think too many people like, yeah, don't use it and they lose it and they live a poorer life when they
Yeah.
still got a lot of life they could be like living.
I think COVID
And that,
probably hastened that direction for very fast. You know, brought in all those things, not going out socializing, not traveling,
mm,
not going to the pub, going to the restaurant, going to the town, going to the seaside. All the things that people do out of the house were stopped for so long. And some people just don't get back at it again, you know? Been a big
mm,
hiccup along the way for older people, definitely. For younger people as well, of course, but they've got time in their hand to get on with it, you know? But for older people, if you stop using it, as you say, you lose it. So they're not going to get the chance to do that again.
yeah. Like this is the thing, like with regards to like your like band of brothers, your band of sisters who are in your say age category, or like they're looking like retirement is coming up for them soon. Like what would you say for say what would you like say for words of like advice or like motivation for them to sort of for the next chapter of their lives where they might be empty nesters
Mhm.
and stuff?
Yeah, as you said, it's a big change, probably the biggest change of people's lifetime. I think it's when they go to work or finish school, whatever it is, but it's not. It's actually when you retire because, as you say, the kids are gone, the
Mm,
job's gone. You maybe somebody who's a employer in charge of a load of people or machinery or whatever it is, and that's gone. The responsibility's gone. And you work all your life thinking, it won't be great when you retire. I'll have all the time to do things. And there's nothing you want to do or sit and watch TV. So uh, I think it's a huge time for people's life to remotivate themselves, to learn new things, to learn how to get on without real old marriages. The whole reason you've been stayed married is to look after the kids. All of a sudden, there's nothing to talk about. We're talking about work. We're talking about, you know, so those are the three big things, I suppose, in it. Or the two big things, your house and your kids, or you're working your kids. So all of a sudden, don't have them to talk about or to take an interest in. It's time for getting back to doing something, whether it's traveling or some adventure, I think, you know?
mm. Yeah, like this is the thing. I've also think like with regards to when the kids go, when the job like when you don't know no longer need to do the job, like
Hmm.
purpose. It's one of those things which it's no matter what sort of age you are, whatever generation, finding a realm of purpose is one of the hardest
Hmm.
things to do. And like if that word came from the kids, if that came from a job and that's gone and it's no longer a sort of an option, find that sort of new purpose is always like a tricky thing. Always a tricky
Yeah. definitely is. I think probably harder for men because men identify so much with their work and with their being the breadwinner and so on. But when that's gone, we was talking to people that who have very high pressure jobs that they haven't been able to do much in the way of a hobby during their lives. They do their work or they're with their family, whatever. All of a sudden, no hobbies, no jobs, nothing to do. It's one of the biggest changes uh, in people's lives, I think, rather than things that gone on earlier. I say I know a lot of people this age. A lot of fun they've had in the late years has been learning a new job, learning about it, mobile apps, learning about fitness, whatever all those things have been out. I think you sort of your body loses that interest in learning once you hit 60. You sort of think, well, what's the point of that? Just did it the way I've always done it, you know. I think, you know, they can feel that myself. You lose less energy, your body's winding down, I suppose. So it's important to keep fighting against it. And I think freaking, I don't think everybody should go on the motorbike and ride to Australia, but it's like you're going to France to do something, you know.
Yeah, I have to ask, like when you finally complete your journey to Australia and you're there and everything like this, what do you think is going to be the next chapter for you?
Well, the bike's actually in Australia. I got there last year. I was doing it in stages. Like it's still working here. I didn't want to disappear for 3 months. I just went away into it in 2 week stages. So the bike's actually there. And it is, I mean, you sort of tend to think when you're on the journey like that once you get there, you'll be going, whoopity day, here we go. It's been brilliant. Glad we're here. And actually,
Mm,
there's a sense of that, certainly, but there's also a sense of sadness and disappointment because you're not at the end of your trip. I remember we got to Cape Town, South Africa. You read the book. It was quite an adventurous trip. I remember thinking it was going to be so exciting getting to see the South Atlantic Ocean. It actually was a big disappointment because I didn't know where else I was going to go after that. And getting to came to Sydney as well was sort of, there's the Opera House, what we're going to do now. And I sort of realized that whenever one journey finishes, you just need to start another one up. So the next trip will be good taking the bike or to the States, driving across the States. And that will actually will go around the world in that stage, in that sense, as far as you can on a road vehicle. It's not roads across most of the world, as you know, there's lots of oceans in the middle. But I think it's important just to have it. If you've got a journey coming to an end, it's important to have another uh, something else planned because otherwise you just step into um, watching. Give Netflix a hard time to step into the ordinary again. Uh, I think it's good to have a good project, have a next project always flipping around the back of your mind.
mm. Yeah, no, I agree. It's important to have to have the next project sort of bubbling in your mind because I want what how you describe that, yeah, it's kind of whoop-de-dee, but there's sadness in the whole like the whole thing is like, yeah, you're actually completing like a task, a
Yeah.
mission which which it may have taken years to plan. And it's just like, okay, that is done. What is
Mhm.
next? And I think when people like many an average Joe who've either run a 5K, 10K, half marathon or a marathon or done something which they've had to sit down and plan for quite some time. And that day comes and it's like, right, what next? Uh, they got like, it's like, yeah, do the same thing. I've done that
Yeah.
already. And they kind of like use that to sort of stop them when they could sort of like go, yeah, okay, I've run a marathon. What about running 2 marathons, 3 marathons? Yeah, in this country, that country, and have an adventure alongside that. But they like fall into a little bit of despair,
Mhm.
I would say, which is sad.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose, as you say, with the Olympics just finishing off, let's see, around Tom Daly, is it's giving up diving. Uh,
Yes.
it's probably going to be a sadness in it for him that Australia's doing it in a good way. He's coming off at the top of his field. Whereas the alternative is you see the footballers going from one crappier club to another crappier club as they lose their skills, they lose their endurance. It's life the way life is. It's gonna handle.
Mm. No, yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. But like, yeah, with like when it comes to like doing that, your American leg of your trip, like after you've done like you've gone the wrong way and finally ended up where you're meant to be, like some 44 years ago in Australia. Will you also write a book about your American travels, or will it be a case of, hey, you might embrace the realm of YouTube and like be like doing like YouTube videos of like you going across the United States, seeing exciting
Yeah,
places?
I don't know about the States. I'm writing certainly writing a book about the trip to America to Australia. There's a lot of guys I've seen doing these YouTube journeys, and uh, the camera nearly seems to take over from the journey itself. Uh,
Uh,
which I'm not terribly too old fashioned for that, I guess, in a way. I like to have pictures and photographs and video for showing yourself. But I guess, well, if people want to do it, just try and make money and motivate people and whatever. So much be it. But good to remember whenever the likes of Jeremy Clarkson and these guys did their trips on Top Gear, when they went to Argentina or something like that. I think they had to get out of town quickly. I think there was some like 50 people in the entourage. You're watching TV, you think there's only the three of them, but it's actually 50 people in the backup.
Oh no, but like you bring up Top Gear, like where were like ew. Like I remember the episode where it was British Top Gear against Top Gear Germany. And like, yeah, Top Gear Germany, they showed up. There was a cameraman, a director, and basically like a sound engineer and like who and like the cut like the presenters. And then it cut to the BBC crew. It was like a small platoon, like ready to invade. It was like madness.
So yeah, I mean, it's always good to do it, but I think you should be doing it for yourself rather than to try and make money out of it, because it's going to be very hard to make money out of it, I think.
Oh, like this is the thing. I hear you, and I would slightly push back. Like you could do the video, like because and just give it as put it out there as a medium for other people to share that
Mm.
journey. Don't it doesn't need to be a cash venture, a
No.
thing. And it's getting to the situation where, as you just mentioned, like some people let the camera get in the way of the journey. You have control over that, so it doesn't go down that route. So it's just another way for people to able to share what you're doing
Yeah, which
at
does no
that
harm. And
present
it's
time.
good to get people, it's good, it motivates people as well. It's on YouTube, maybe they go out and get themselves. Uh,
Mm,
if they don't, you try not to be too old fashioned, but it's the way that life has gone. It's movies and videos, people into videos. That's what they
yeah.
like.
No, like this is the thing. I just want you to get your word out, get your story out to as many people as possible. Because like this is the thing, I feel there's always a lot to learn from people's stories, and like with regards to like how you've lived your life, like traveling around, like yeah, starting five businesses, like fighting the government to like get your like property back, and you know what I mean, like doing this next chapter of your life where you've gone back to Australia, like you've got like you're traveling around Australia now, looking to do the United States. It's like, yeah, you are a very active individual. Like regardless of or any generation, be that ultra young, Gen Alpha, yeah, to like basically like okay boomer.
Yeah.
Regardless, like you are like, you know what I mean? There's not many people which would like do things on this level. You get
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, most people have more sense and do a lot of things I've done.
Like, no, no, this is the thing. I think you've always got to embrace a little like an element of the
Yeah.
crazy if you're trying to be a pathfinder and going down your own way. there is no like such thing as sane, because if you were sane and rational, 100% sane and rational, yeah, you wouldn't like there's easier
Yeah,
ways to live
yeah,
a
it
life.
definitely is.
There's easy I Yeah, there's other ways to have fun. But like I have to ask now, how like with regards to your book, what was the sort of motivation to actually, yeah, do your book going the wrong way?
Um, I guess it was to get the story out there. I'd heard a lot of other people talking. There's ones on YouTube and stuff, and Ewan McGregor, oh, and Charlie Borman have obviously done their round the world trip. Um,
Mhm,
so it's just a combination of a couple of things coming together. And I had some time on my hands as well. As found my still had my journals and my notes, my diaries. So I just thought I'd just put it together. And also, it's probably easier to self-publish a book now because of IT. Your computer, your spell checker. I could never run a book in the 80s without spell checker, like grammar checker and all the rest of them. So there are, we talk about AI, which is going to take over the world, but stuff like that, it makes it easier from on our point of view to write a book and self-publish. And it's quite amazing that a weekend in Belfast can write a book and we'll publish, and they've got more customers in the States and Australia, all over the world buying it. And it's gotten great reviews, 1,400 5-star reviews. It's pretty much as well in most of the, practically the top 5% of reviews anyway. So if it wasn't for the ability to do that with the IT based ability to do that, um,
mhm.
I probably would never got finished. But my slow English teachers would be amazed that I've been able to come from where I was at school to write a book, which has been a best-selling Amazon book for the last over the last 3 years. So yeah, there are a lot of good things coming from the IT as well as the the things that are taking over here. But
Mm. Yeah, how long did it take you to put the book together?
well, you could say 40 years, I suppose, from start to finish. But really about a year, I guess, about a year. Get it edited and self-published and put it, get it professional, looking like a professional product. Probably took about a year.
Yeah,
And
brilliant,
say there's a book in
brilliant.
everybody, so you can just get down to it, get stuck in.
Well, like, you know what? I look forward to like producing my own book one day. Yes. Like one, two, three, ABC. Here we go again. Life of my life. Yes. Oh, brilliant. Now I have to ask this. Yeah, this will be like my final question. Now, if like, where has what has been the most exciting thing about traveling for you? And where would you like to where would you say the place of mystery for your where would you really love to go?
Um, where would I really love to go? I suppose I like to spend more time in South America. Yeah, I rode through it and I saw bits of it, but it's very much off our sort of sphere, if you like, from the Western world, because we've got English, we've got America, we've got Australia, if you're using an easy time using the English language. South America is just that
Mm,
wee bit further away, and it's a lot of mystery and mystique about it. I'd like to spend more time there. Besides go different places in the States and the and America, Australia. There's a wee bit of Britain in there too, so you're less, it's less of a strangeness about it. So some incredible things in South America, probably behind over the horizon somewhere. Like it, I don't think I'll do the motorbike again, but who knows?
oh, no, no. Who knows? Who knows? Interesting. Like it. Like it. Now, I have to ask, like, yeah, how can people find you out there on this big wide world, on this internet?
Well, the best way is on Amazon. It's all around the world, anywhere in the world to deliver paperbacks, ebooks. We've got an audiobook out, which is going really well on hardback for people who know more traditional. So, Going the Wrong Way by Chris Donaldson. Put it into Amazon and it'll come up there. and check out the reviews, check out the story.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes, I'll also put that into the show notes so everyone can find you, Chris. And yes, I got to say thank you for coming on today. You have been brilliant. You have been a star. You have been superb, sir.
It's been a
Superb.
pleasure.
Yes. Ah, and the honor's been all mine. Hey, there you go. Ah, yeah. So please let me just say this to you, my friends, my life warriors. Thank you for coming on, like watching us on the podcast today. Please stay well, stay safe, be awesome, be excellent, be fantastic, be all the positive bees you can be in this world, and then some. Have a great day, guys. Have a great day. Peace. And we are